In August 7, 2013, physicist Lawrence Krauss and the Christian apologist William Lane Craig had a debate in Brisbane, Australia on the topic, "Has science buried God?" In his opening speech, Krauss launched a personal attack towards William Lane Craig's persona by showing various inaccuracies that Craig had committed in his podcast review of the movie The Unbelievers, which featured Lawrence Krauss himself and the biologist Richard Dawkins. A few days after that, Craig posted an apology on his Facebook page regarding one of the misrepresentations. An unpersuaded Krauss replied to that with a video. Subsequently, Craig dedicated a podcast to address Krauss' personal attack during their debate. Here are the parts I judge worth addressing.
Well, what I thought of, Kevin, was our podcasts that we recorded on the movie that Dawkins and Krauss did. And I thought of the mistake that I had made in that in attributing a statement to Richard Dawkins that was actually made by the moderator in the movie, but that I was unaware of that because, as you remember, we were working with an audio tape. But because I couldn't see who was speaking, but could only hear the voices, I mistakenly thought that Dawkins had made a statement when it was really the moderator. And so
William Lane Craig is making it seem like all he did is confusing who said what, but that is not the case. This is what Craig claimed the dialogue in the movie was.
For example, there's a very, I think, uncharitable exchange between Dawkins and Cardinal Pell concerning evolutionary theory, where Dawkins clearly tries to set Pell up to embarrass him. He says to him, "Do you believe that human beings are evolved from apes?" And Pell answers, "Probably so." And then Dawkins says, "Do you believe then that human beings are evolved from Neanderthals?" And Pell says, "Probably so." And then Dawkins springs the trap. Well, that shows you don't understand evolutionary theory because Neanderthals are not ancestors of human beings, of Homo sapiens. They are our cousins, not our ancestors, attempting to show Pell's ignorance of evolutionary theory. This was clearly an attempt by Dawkins to simply set up and embarrass an opponent in an unfair way.
In truth, the dialogue was, "Do you believe human beings have evolved from apes?" "Yeah, probably." "From Neanderthals?" "Yes." The dialogue, even ignoring who actually said what, is not what Craig claimed it was. So Craig's quote-unquote sin is not mere misattribution, but a distortion of the statements made in the movie. While Craig could not see who said what, he should have been able to hear what was being said.
And as you remember, Kevin, we were made aware of the mistake just a few days after the podcast went up. And
about 5 days.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as soon as we became aware of it, we took that podcast down, corrected the mistake, and then put it back up. But apparently during those 5 days, someone had made a recording of it and gave it to Krauss so that he was working off of the old uncorrected podcast that was done.
That Craig corrected the podcast after someone made him know that he or she noticed the distortion is not a demonstration of integrity. If Craig had purposely distorted the content of the movie, he would then correct it to not risk that the person who noticed the distortion made others know about it once she found out her warning had been ignored.
That at all. I wouldn't be so stupid, nor would you, Kevin, to misattribute quotations in a movie that was going to be publicly shown in movie theaters all over the country. That would be the dumbest thing to do.
Craig is too candid about the whole business. Few people who have listened to the podcast will go and watch the movie. Most will just assume what Craig has said corresponds to the truth. Of the few who will watch the movie, or already have, only a portion will notice its inconsistencies with the podcast. Of that portion, maybe someone will do something substantial about those inconsistencies. At the end of the day, Craig is unlikely to receive major heat for his distortions. In this case, he was just unlucky Krauss caught wind of them.
And although I haven't watched this attack video myself, Kevin, I don't look at these things unless I absolutely have to. I've been told that this attack video combines what looks like prepared, very slick footage with a sort of amateurish cell phone type image that looks like it was cobbled together. So it looks like this thing was prepared well in advance, but then adjusted to take account of the explanation that I gave after the Brisbane dialogue to him privately.
After you gave that private explanation, seems to me that that YouTube video either not be posted or taken down.
Right. That would have been the charitable thing to do. That's right. And the fact that there was, it appears, a sort of pre-filmed, pre-packaged attack video ready to go, which was then just slightly altered in view of the explanation I gave after Brisbane, suggests that there was a concerted and planned effort to put through this campaign of personal character assassination against me. I think it's very...
The so-called slick footage that Craig is referring to is what Krauss showed the audience during the debate. Of course, it had to be carefully prepared. In his video, Krauss stated that he didn't plan on following up to his accusations during the debate until Craig posted his allegedly disingenuous justification for his misrepresentation of Dawkins. All Krauss added to his debate footage is a recording of himself talking for a few minutes, and a screenshot of Craig's apology. Craig's assertion that Krauss had planned to release this video even before the debate is therefore baseless speculation. To conclude, it's worth noticing that neither in this podcast nor in his Facebook apology, Craig has made any reference to his distortion of Krauss' statement about Darwin, despite the fact that Krauss showed it to him during their debate. As of now, Craig's misrepresentation of Krauss is still present in his podcast review of The Unbelievers. So, this is it for Craig's defense. Now, I want to quickly overview a section of the response to Krauss' video that YouTube user Religion Philosophy has uploaded. There are 3 mistakes in this clip that are worth examining. 1. Religion Philosophy, just like Craig, omits to say that Craig's misrepresentation of Dawkins wasn't a mere misattribution, but a distortion of the words that were said. 2. He doesn't mention that the apology only came after Krauss publicly called Craig out on his misrepresentations. Were it for Craig, his error would have gone unnoticed. 3. Religion philosophy misrepresents Lawrence Krauss' reply. He makes it seem as if Krauss just expressed skepticism to the idea that Craig's misattribution was in good faith, while in truth Krauss' argument is more elaborated. Here is a clip from his video showing it.
Now, he claimed that because it was an audio tape, he didn't know who was saying what, and therefore he was incorrect about inferring this. And in fact, he inferred, as he says at great lengths, that Richard Dawkins set up Cardinal Pell in a program called Q&A, a conversation between the two of them, set him up to make him look bad. And he goes on and on about how disingenuous and inappropriate and rude this was. And this is what he claims the transcript of the movie says. Question: do you believe that human beings are evolved from apes? Answer: probably so. Question: well then, do you believe that human beings are evolved from Neanderthals? Answer: probably so. And he goes on, Dr. Craig, to say, see, of course humans aren't evolved from Neanderthals, and Richard Dawkins was just setting up Cardinal Pell to make him look bad. Well, first of all, of course, the question wasn't asked by Richard Dawkins, but even aside from that, the transcript is not what Dr. Craig says it was. Here's the actual transcript. Question: do you accept that humans evolved from apes? Answer: yeah, probably. From Neanderthals, yes. One question, one answer. It turns out the question was asked by Tony Jones, the moderator. But there's no setting up here. There's none of that. And in fact, the argument that Dr. Craig then gave me that we didn't know who was saying what just doesn't hold water, because in fact, the quotation is not from the movie. And so you may have not known who was saying what, but you should be able to hear it. But that...
So, this is it for today. Thank you for watching.